Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Popcorn and Coffee Table Talk. I'm your host, Jesse. Over here to my right, or straight in front of me these days, is Jay. How are you?
Good.
At the booth, Colin, how are you?
Doing all right.
You guys ready for another episode?
Yes.
Yep.
As always, we have a lot to talk about. Starting out with, how are you guys doing? What's new in life?
Well, I started nights this week. So.
Ooh, there we go.
That's rough.
Yes.
Is that an excitement?
No,
nights?
It's terrible. Oh. It's the worst thing ever.
Okay. I would agree.
I'd rather go and watch the Exra Miller Flash movie than...
I would too.
Yeah, nights are not fun.
Yeah. It's only for a month, though, so...
Did you get that in writing?
Yes, I did.
Nice.
Smart.
I have a signed piece of paper.
That is a smart decision.
Before we get too far down that rabbit hole,
Moment of silence.
a moment of silence. You want to introduce this next piece of news?
So, Robbie Coltrane, Hagrid of Harry Potter, passed away yesterday.
Yes.
As I was reporting yesterday, at the age of 72.
72.
So.
And it was interesting because he also played, and I did not remember this, that he played Valentin Volovsky in the James Bond franchise with the likes of GoldenEye and The World Is Not Enough, which I'm pretty sure are both Pierce Brosnan.
Really?
Bonds. Yeah. Could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure. But to be in the Harry Potter franchise and the James Bond franchise,
that's
it's
big.
pretty successful. Successful. So yes.
Yeah.
All our thoughts and prayers go out to the family.
Yeah.
That's sad. That's unfortunate.
Who else died this past week? Lady.
Somebody else?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I can't remember the name,
What's
though.
her name?
Actress?
Yeah, she's an actress.
What was she in?
Sorry, that's the scar of this podcast is we got nothing on a name.
We suck at names yet. Well, I mean, this is a little bit more obscure, so
Yeah.
understandably so.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
That's unfortunate. Anyways, Black Adam's doing very well.
Is it?
Apparently.
Okay.
Yep. Everyone is saying he is and by he, I mean Dwayne The Rock, Mr. Johnson, is the savior of DCEU at this point, and everything's going well.
Good for him. He's not going to save it. If anything was going to save the DCU, it would have been that first Wonder Woman film, which was probably the best film they had at that point when it came out.
So you don't think they could shift and start getting better at this point?
No.
I think if they lean heavier into this mythos, I think that could work. Because if we get a success out of this, if this is a box office success, I'm struggling to say that word tonight, and people like it, and then you come out with, say, Shazam 2, and the good news that Henry Cavill is still Superman, which if you're a fan of DC, you're a fan of that fact, because he's probably the one constant that is a good element to those movies. And then The Flash turns out to be decent.
The Flash just started doing reshoots with Exra Miller, so we know that's already going to be a bomb.
I don't know. I'm interested to see where it's going to go.
Can you name one time that DC has ever done reshoots and it's been a good thing?
Okay, no.
Okay.
No, but I'll stand on if this is good, if Shazam 2 is good, which Shazam 1 was good, and they can work on another Superman project, and they stay up in the cosmic stuff, I think that could be a direct, and say they make a decent Green Lantern movie, I think it could work.
It's a lot of ifs.
I'm hopeful.
I'm not. And I'm a DC fan, and I'm not.
Well, Marvel's letting me down lately, so I have to rely on something.
It's banking on a lot of ifs.
That's true. That's true. I did watch the final episode of She-Hulk, though. And just throw that in here because it was bad.
So
surprise Pikachu.
So, yeah, I listen to a lot of people who actually like the show a lot. And fine. Sure. You can have it. Part of the show, this episode, Colin, because I know you didn't watch it.
Heck no.
Was beyond her breaking the fourth wall. And literally, I thought it was broken.
I did too.
Which, if that was their goal, which I'm sure it was, it worked. Because the screen just goes to black. And then the main Disney Plus page pops up. And you're like, why did it just back out of the episode? And then out of nowhere, She-Hulk punches through the She-Hulk photo, like where it is. She punches through the icon on the map, the Disney Plus map, and just jumps into another app. And I'm saying app, but it's another show.
Yeah.
And literally like breaks into the real world and goes to Disney because she wants to track down Kevin Feige and talk to Kevin Feige.
Because she doesn't like the way her episode's going.
Because she doesn't like the way the episode's going. She gets into the room and she's like, well, there's Kevin Feige's office, breaks the door down, and inside is just this ridiculous looking CGI robot. And it says Kevin on it, but it's Kevin period EP. Like it's an acronym for the Disney machine that makes the Marvel movies. So not really Kevin Feige.
Jeez.
And then and this is what I hated about it because it was so lazy. She proceeds to say, well, this is how I want the rest of the show to go. And then the rest of the show goes exactly that way.
Yeah.
There's no intrigue left. There's no surprises left. The rest of the show is boring.
Mm-hmm.
The whole show is boring.
Yeah.
And they double down on the fact that she is nothing but a shallow, I don't even want to say it, but all she's seeking is physical intimacy. Like she doesn't want to, like she's just like, hey, we bring Daredevil back just because she wants to hook up with him again. That's what
she says.
She
says as much. Yeah.
She's the most shallow character ever created. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. She's almost like worse than like Johnny Depp. Robert Downey Jr. and the first Iron Man, where he's just like a womanizer and stuff. She's basically like that with men.
Yeah.
She's a manonizer.
But at least Tony what would it be?
A mayonnaise.
But at least with his character, he didn't go around saying women are the worst things in the world.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, he loved women. Like, legitimately, and you say that facetiously, but he's like, no, but she's saying, men suck. All they see is meat. And then she's like, I am the most incredible piece of meat. Pretty much is all she's saying. I hate it. No.
That is just too self-aware to be comfortable and just reveals like, yeah, we know this is garbage.
Yeah, it went nowhere. It was really unfortunate.
She says she's so incredible, but I find it funny that she's dating a blind guy she really likes. I think it's just so that way if she, gains a little weight, he won't notice. Because he can't see.
I thought it was just so she could be...
That's some galaxy brain thoughts.
But I mean, he's Daredevil, so he's not blind. Daredevil's not blind.
Well, he physically can't see her.
He's going to know if the sonar's bouncing off a little closer or farther away.
This has gone in a crazy direction. Didn't you watch the one with Ben Affleck?
No.
Because like when it rained, who was in that movie? Jennifer Garner, because that's where they got married from. When it rained, it like hit her in a specific way so he could see her based off how the water was hitting her face. So he could see her face.
So he's like a bat?
Yeah, he's always used sonars.
They never did that in the Netflix series. They never...
No, that's where I think the Netflix series missed the mark. He's not normal. He's a superhero.
He's a normal dude that went blind and is really good at his senses.
Yeah, all of his other senses were enhanced.
So if I go blind...
No, it's a comic book.
That's stupid. I like it better the way he is.
No.
Like without that.
I can't say that the lack of sonar is a bad thing.
I would disagree with both of you. I mean, the show is great. I love the show.
He's primarily a blind man. Where does he get echolocation? I get his ability to hear
becomes enhanced.
Is better, but he doesn't have sonar echolocation like a bat.
Yes, he does.
That's frequency emitted, bounced, and returned.
No, yeah, he could feel the vibrations. He can hear the vibrations.
He has better hearing.
Yes,
but not echolocation like a bat.
No, I'm not saying he has echolocation. I'm saying he has senses that are akin to a bat. Sure.
So if he goes, to like
Batman.
No, because the Batman can't do that.
Batman's suit did though.
But Batman is a Batman.
but not literally.
So he's not Batman. Then he would basically.
Oh
be
my
like,
gosh! Have you guys not seen?
He would be
anything?
who's the vampire dude? Jared Leto.
What about it? Morbius.
Morbius. So he's Morbius.
So it's just always Morbin time?
Yeah.
Yes, always Morbius.
Echolocation equals Morbin time?
Morbian. Yes.
He's morbing?
No, that's stupid. I'm sorry.
That's the comics.
That's stupid.
I'm just rustling Jimmy's.
So he can his smelling is enhanced.
I get that. Everything else
that 100%,
He's enhanced.
That 100% makes sense.
Yeah.
You're gonna have boosted senses because you're deprived of one. Everything else is gonna be relied on.
But it's to a supernatural level. That's what I'm saying.
But where does he become super?
It's the chemicals that got dumped on him.
What chemicals?
Holy crap. How do you think he lost his sight? You think he was born with it? He got chemicals dumped on him.
Okay.
So when it went in his bloodstream, he lost his sight and all of his other senses became enhanced.
What was this chemical?
It's a comic book. How did Spider-Man become Spider-Man?
Because that was a super spider.
Yes.
It was enhanced.
Okay, how did the Hulk become the Hulk? Gamma radiate? Like, why are you guys like suspending disbelief for every character except Daredevil? And it's just to get me heated now. We're done. We're done with this. Moving on.
Jimmy's
the Hulk has
effectively
a son in She-Hulk.
Skarr.
Hold on, tell me that again.
I knew that would change your direct. I had to derail that train.
Did he get some of these chemicals dumped on him?
What's even more ridiculous is not only does he have a son, he's an adult. His son is an adult. So at the beginning of the show, I don't even want to speak it.
What, he was hit by a comet and became gamma?
An aircraft comes down from Skarr. That's what causes the wreck where Jen gets her powers. And then Bruce, ironically, is like, I gotta go look into that. So he leaves. Then the rest of the show is about She-Hulk because that's how she got. He comes back at the end of this episode and he's like, hey, I figured out why they came. They came pretty much to talk to me. And I'm paraphrasing all of this. None of this was actually in there. He shows up for 30 seconds. And he's like, I want to introduce y'all to my son. And he moves, and there's another Hulk behind him, and it's apparently his child.
Who was playing him?
Oh, shoot.
I have no idea.
It's the guy. I've seen him in some stuff. I can't remember his name. I meant to look it up, but I had no internet. Here, it's if you've ever seen the movie on Netflix When We First Met, or
I'm gonna try to look it up real quick. Keep talking.
It's the character in that who marries Alexandria Daddario's character.
That's all foreign to me.
I could see it on your eyes. I was like, no.
It's like, not computing.
But yeah, he. I know he's played in some other stuff. I think he played in the Baywatch movie, actually.
Didn't see that.
I didn't either. But
Zac Efron?
Well, deusner?
What?
Yeah.
Let's talk about ridiculous stuff. Look at that character, Colin.
It's disgusting.
It looks really bad. The CGI and stuff.
Why does it look like the lead singer from Avenged Sevenfold?
Why is this hairline here, but he has no hair?
It's either poor CGI.
He's got a shaved head.
That's what it looks like. He shaved it, but why did he leave this stuff? It's irrelevant.
He just crashed his plane and got back 5, 6, 7 episodes ago.
He just found out he had a father. He's probably really stressed.
That's Hulk's son.
I don't like it.
And the article that I was reading was saying how they originally wanted to make him a baby. Hulk's son, they introduced him as a baby, akin to Grogu. That's what they wanted. They wanted another baby Yoda character. But instead, they decided to make him 23 and hideous.
Because they probably want him for the next... They're probably going to...
He would have to be Young Avengers.
Yeah.
Yes, Young Avengers stuff is what's going to happen.
Did you ever watch the Miss Marvel series?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. Like, I enjoyed that one. I really like that show. That's probably the best one they've come out with in a while.
Miss Marvel?
I would say in the top 2, 3 at least. Series they've had.
Hawkeye was better.
Hawkeye's, yeah, I would say Hawkeye's
Moon
the
Knight
best.
was better.
No, I like Miss Marvel better than Moon Knight.
It's very tweeny of you. I'm just sad all the time now, pretty much, because DC's terrible and Marvel's becoming terribler.
I mean, the thing had to fail at some point.
Well, and we knew that. We did.
It's just we're starting to see the leaves fall off the tree now.
That's so unfortunate.
Grasshoppers will be back when the last leaf falls.
So, Netflix is coming out with a tiered system.
Oh, boy.
How much do we care about that?
Not at all, because I ain't paying for either one.
This is very true.
So what is their current monthly bill right
It's
now?
like 15, isn't it?
I think it's $14.99. I think
$14.99.
Yeah, all their content.
And so they're going to come out with $6.99
$6.99
with ads.
with ads, and you can't get all of Netflix's catalog, which really sucks.
So
That's dumb. Where's
That's
the
so
value
dumb.
in that?
Yeah, why are you limiting
Half
what
the
they can
cost
watch?
of your subscription is gaining you ads in that sense.
And what's
But not
even
the whole
worse about
catalog.
it? What's even worse about it? On top of the half the catalog, then it's 4 to 5 ads an hour. So in a 2.5 hour movie, you're getting 10 plus ads.
It's basically TV at that point.
I would argue that's almost worse than TV.
Because usually it boils down to 1 hour is the equivalent of like 40 minutes
Of commercials?
of TV. So 20 minutes of ads,
yeah.
1 to 3 ratio adds to content.
It's not dissimilar than that.
I don't understand who's going to pay for that with that many ads.
Again,
make
people who
sense.
can't afford the $14.99 one, that's who they're targeting.
I get it, but the thing of it is I can go to Hulu and pay $7.99 a month with ads, and I'm not getting 4 to 5 ads in an hour.
That's ridiculous. The only thing that I did read
And sorry not to cut you off.
You did.
And I get the entire Hulu catalog as well for that. They're not like limiting what I can watch. So what's Netflix going to like limit? Are they going to limit their original stuff?
I don't know. I would.
Probably all of the A-list stuff.
That's what I would assume. So can you not get a Stranger Things on a B tier
Probably
Netflix? I would hope if they were going to do anything, say, okay, here's our lower tiered, but all you can get is Netflix original content. That wouldn't bother me. So if it was excluding any movie that you could potentially find somewhere else, that wouldn't bother me. Netflix has the best catalog in terms of original content. And I don't mean best in terms of like quality, but best in terms of like, it's a pretty large, big catalog.
Yeah, I would. Like, wait, you're saying best like in amount or best in like
Like, yeah, they have
shows?
the most. So if I'm going to pay for Amazon or I'm going to pay for Netflix and all I get is the original stuff that they make, Netflix makes twice as much original content as Amazon does.
Yeah, but would you rather watch more that's on Amazon or that's on Netflix?
I would probably choose Netflix.
Really?
Netflix has a lot of good original stuff.
How many originals do you actually watch on there? Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
They do a lot of documentaries. I mean, you're not going to find the Tiger King anywhere else.
I didn't finish it. I couldn't. I would argue Hulu's got probably the best original content as far as all what they have there. Hulu's got the best stuff out there right now.
What's their original stuff?
You've got Only Murders in the Building right now, which is really good.
That's that Selena Gomez one?
Yeah. Steve Martin Short's in it.
Yeah.
They just released, there's another one, I haven't watched it yet, but it looks really good. It's got Andrew Garfield in it. It's called Under the Banner of Heaven. It's like a true crime. It looks pretty good. I'm going to check that out. They had
I think it's about Mormons in it.
I'm not sure.
Pretty sure
I just know it's about a murder and he's like a detective. They had a short with James Franco that came out like a few years ago. It's called 11/22/63. It's about this guy who time travels back in time and tries to stop the Kennedy assassination. It was like a 14 episode miniseries.
It's supposed to be funny.
No, it's serious. No,
You said James Franco.
no, it's serious. They've got a lot of other stuff out there right now that just looks really good. More stuff I am interested in watching than Netflix has right at this moment. Because the only thing I care about on Netflix is Stranger Things.
Yeah, I don't typically go on Netflix. I mean, you were watching Dahmer. That was on there.
Yeah, I still gotta finish that. I don't know. You can only take so much homosexual stuff in a day.
A lot of homosexual talk lately.
Here on the pod or just in general in life?
Between last week's trigger warning disclaimer thing we had to put up and now bringing it up again. It's popping up a lot.
What?
But it's mostly...
It's not our fault.
It is mostly related to Dahmer or that Bros movie, I think is...
Yeah.
I mean, they're the ones pushing it, and Hollywood's trying to put it in legitimately everything. I mean, that's why... And then our conversation is just consumed by it, unfortunately. I don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about good movies. But before we go any further, we're going to start interjecting this in. I forgot to put it in the show notes like I said I was going to. Please like and subscribe. That's what's going to get us noticed more. That's what's going to get us out there. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button.
What's the end of year goal we're trying to hit?
What did we say? We said 1,000?
1,000 subscribers.
1,000 was a calendar year, wasn't it?
No.
6 months?
6 months. And that was from like July.
And that was for him to shave his head.
Yeah.
If you recall that episode.
Way to go.
We're going, though.
Yeah.
We're going. What do we want by the end of the year? I'd like to see 50.
I'd like to see 50
by the
Can
end
we
of
get
the year.
50?
I think we could hit 50 by the end of the
2
year.
months, yeah. I think so.
So and subscribe.
And we had, 60 plus people watch the last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks everybody, too, for sharing it. Like, this last episode has been our most successful one.
We really, really appreciate it. Blade got pushed back.
Yeah.
I think his brain power got pushed back there a little bit, too.
Sorry. I was reading that.
Reading the notes? Yeah.
I was just looking at it.
Well, I know they were looking for a new director, and Mahershala Ali wasn't happy with the script.
Yeah.
Because it was like a 90-page script. And when you're looking at movies, if it's a 90-page script, that typically translates to about a 90-minute movie. It's about a minute a page.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he just wasn't happy with the content, that it was too shallow. You know, he was looking for something a little deeper. And then on top of him not being happy with it, they lost the director. So right now they're trying to look for somebody to direct it. It was supposed to start pre-production like this week. That's not happening now.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah. So they came out and released a release date for it. I can't remember what it was. They pushed it back. But in pushing that back, it pushed back all the Phase 5 movies.
Oh, wow.
So everything got pushed a few months from where they were originally located.
What?
Go ahead.
Do you think that they would be willing to open up, have an open tryout for directors?
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
Not with the money that these guys are swinging around. That's a lot of
I'd
deep
do it for
pockets.
half of what they're paying.
And I'm assuming they're looking for someone, because of how Hollywood operates these days, that's a little bit more...
Melanin.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. The demographics not quite here, what they're looking for.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah. It's a little too bright in this room.
Yeah, they base a lot of stuff off race and gender at this point. Not actually who's qualified to do it. Disney. I'm not saying we are, but
that's why you run into this kind of stuff.
It absolutely is. Instead of just finding the right guy or gal for the job, they play politics.
So you're saying because of the color of my skin, I will not have a chance to direct a movie in Hollywood?
Yes, you are prejudiced against. You are racially profiled. No one cares. We're white.
That's a shame.
Maybe the Kendrick brothers. I actually looked them up one time to see how you got involved in one of the production for their movies. It's really hard.
Really?
Yeah, it's really hard.
They're probably really picky too, though.
Yeah.
They probably just don't want anybody helping, because they probably want someone with that's.
Yeah, it isn't facing the Giants anymore.
Yeah.
That's fine. I respect that.
Did they ever start finding more actors that aren't the same guys?
Probably not.
Oh, it's just the same cast every time.
Yeah, that new one coming out, it's pretty much the same people in it again.
Yeah. Isn't Kirk Cameron in that new one?
Yeah.
He's making a comeback?
Huh?
He's making a comeback?
He came back, yeah. They actually, for the first... We may have talked about this a long time ago, but they're actually using de-aging technology on Kirk Cameron in the movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they actually are... That's expensive stuff.
What's their new movie supposed to be about anyways?
It's like a true story about a little boy that was abandoned as a baby by his mom, and then the family that takes him in, Kirk Cameron and his wife in the movie. The mom tries to find him later when he's an adult or a teenager.
Oh.
And the whole thing's about reconciling that relationship. And
Gotcha.
so they de-age Kirk Cameron because he's older now. He's older, and he's playing the dad as the old man.
I thought you were going to say they de-aged him to an infant, and he was the baby that got left.
Oh, gosh.
What?
He plays the teenager?
Yeah.
No, it's not
That
that
would be horrific. That'd be a really bad move.
Like reshooting Growing Pains or something.
That's not cheap technology.
No, it's cool to see that their capacity's going up, like what they can pull off.
Yeah.
It would be nice to see some other actors in there.
I hope their storytelling keeps going in the direction off of the last one they did off of was the racing one, the runner,
That was the last one.
Courageous.
no.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Overcomer.
That's what
There
it was.
it is.
That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Because that
There's
was
that dented
probably
beetle.
one of the most, like, I remember watching that one and like feel like it was intense, like the build and stuff of the
Yes,
races and stuff
yes.
were really intense. It was really well done. The story was well done. Hopefully they don't have another War Room, which was terrible. I did not like War Room. I thought it was very weak and short, and
I don't remember it. So
that's
Yeah, I can't recall it either.
I mean, I know the premise, and I mean,
Yeah.
the love dare came out of it, but
nope.
nope, that was a
Nope.
different movie
Nope.
too. They're all.
Wasn't that Fireproof?
It was fireproof. As soon as it came out of my mouth. I knew
Goodness,
that.
man.
Golly, I
That's
love
the
all.
problem. You can't differentiate them by the actors, so you have to like find the weird little.
I mean, you're not
story
wrong. None of them are bad.
I'm
War
not
Room's
saying they're bad.
I thought
bad.
War Room was bad. I thought story was weak. I thought acting was weak. It moved way too fast.
I can't even comment. on
I
it
would
'cause don't remember.
argue that War Room was a bad film.
Was it faster than Backman pace wise?
Cheeky fella. Anyways, that was a tangent.
That movie came out a while back.
Yeah. Yeah.
War Room?
If that was prior to Overcomer, then yeah.
Oh yeah, because
Oh,
it
yeah.
was.
Because we did a showing at the community center for that movie.
For Overcomer?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I was
did.
at.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that's how long ago that was.
Yeah.
That's a while.
Well, I mean, if you follow the track of like it takes 2 years to put out a movie, they're kind of on. It seems like as soon as
I
they
think-
end one, they start working on another one.
Yeah, I think War Room came out in like 15 or 16. I want to say.
Yeah, I don't remember that one. You want to share that next bit?
Yeah, so the Lonely Island team wants to get Liam Neeson to help reboot the Naked Gun movies. What do you think about that?
I don't know how I feel about that.
What is the premise of this movie?
The Naked Gun?
Yeah,
He's
I
a
don't think I
detective.
watched them.
Leslie Nielsen was
Yeah.
the original.
It was all real dry
So
comedy.
they're pretty old then.
Yeah, like 1980s, I think. They were 80s, yeah.
The Naked Gun movies probably came out in the 80s, yeah.
There's, two of them, I think?
I think there was 3, but the one was like 2.5.
Yeah. But it was like a real dry, kind of like almost airplane comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the guy, the airplane guy?
Yeah,
Was the
yeah.
one?
Leslie Nielsen.
I'm not a fan of that guy. I haven't seen much with him, but I don't like him.
You have to be very specific to like that kind of humor.
Yeah.
But I don't know that the Lonely Island guys can pull off that kind of humor.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. Because that's Andy Samberg in them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be funnier.
Oh, I mean, they certainly picked a dry actor.
That's true.
You know what?
I do like Liam Neeson, though. Some of his comedy and stuff can be funny.
I don't know. He was in A Million Ways to Die in the West, and that was bad.
I didn't watch that one.
But that was Seth MacFarlane.
That's probably why the comedy sucked, is because that guy
Yeah,
sucks.
McFarlane's.
I mean, yeah.
He did a bit on one of Ricky Gervais's shows, one of his shows that he had. I can't remember the name of it. It was on YouTube, and he did a bit on there. He came to Ricky. He's like, I want to get into stand-up comedy and be a comedian and stuff.
My only problem with it is
It's a bad person to go to because he's
stylistic.
Ricky Gervais?
I don't like him.
No? Oh, I love
I like Ricky.
I like him.
The stylistic choices that the Lonely Island guys choose in their type of humor. Because they did the Chip and Dale movie.
Yeah.
That was all the Lonely Island guys.
Okay.
Really?
I love Chip and Dale. I thought that was a funny movie.
Good.
That is a different kind of humor than what the Naked Gun movies are.
Yeah.
You know? But then granted, I don't know what kind of role Andy Samberg played in the production of like a crap, it's escaping me. We just talked about it.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
No, the movie that we were talking about. Hot Rod.
Oh.
Which is a very dry humor.
Yeah.
But that leans a little bit more towards a Napoleon Dynamite type humor. And those aren't the same either.
Right.
So I don't know. That could be hit or miss.
It'll be interesting.
It'll be worth checking out at least just to see how it turns out.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to remake him, I think Liam Neeson's a good choice for that character. He kind of reminds me of a Leslie Nielsen, an older.
Yeah.
So.
You don't think like a Bill Murray could do that role?
No.
You don't think so?
Bill Murray is more sarcastic humor. And like,
yeah.
So I don't think he's.
Yeah, it's probably true. That's okay.
Yeah, maybe we'll see what happens with that. We'll update you when we find more news on that.
Yeah. Colin, the Hulk has a son.
It's disgusting.
His name is Skarr.
Who's got
scarred of that?
His name is Skarr.
It's scarring to find that out.
Was he literally raised by Jeff Goldblum? That's what I want to know.
Imagine if he acted exactly like Goldblum.
That could be good.
The creepy mannerisms and just the weirdness.
But how did he...
Who's the mom?
How did he have a baby?
Yeah.
Did he make him? Maybe he made him.
Is this an amoeba situation?
Why'd you give me that look?
He made him?
Like, he took his DNA and put it in somebody else and made another Hulk. And he's like, okay, you're my son because I made you Frankenstein style.
No. No.
Combined look of disgust, confusion.
But if that's not it, Colin's question is accurate. It had to have been an alien.
It would have had to be somebody who can carry a Hulk baby.
But who's to say it couldn't have been born as a human?
Okay,
not Hulk until it reached a certain age.
Okay, I don't know because
I can see that.
If it's in your blood, though,
maybe it's dormant until maybe it has to be like once he hit puberty, that caused the chemical shift to allow him to have access to.
I reject your hypothesis. I don't agree. I think that there's nothing scientific to back that up.
Okay, we're going back down a new Daredevil train. You're trying to apply human logic to a comic book. Okay, that is sound. That is sound plotline storytelling.
No.
What is yours? Let's hear it.
Realistically, it makes more
I said he's a Frankenstein baby. He gave a logical explanation of what it could be. What do you think? How is he his son?
I'm not saying he didn't like.
Is Black Widow the mom?
No. No.
Black Widow's dead.
Doesn't mean he's 25 in the show.
It's very true.
He could have been born a while back.
You never seen her.
Just
what if he is a baby, though?
Doesn't mean anything.
What if he is a baby?
That is what the babies look like? But why is...
So he's actually a baby now, and when he turns into the Hulk, he looks like a teenager.
No!
But why is Banner that size? You're saying it can be an infant, but its Hulk form is always an adult with a square head?
Yeah, it's like more like a Shazam type
that was
thing.
Standing behind him is a baby. It's going to talk like a baby. It's going to...
Yeah, it would have absolutely all the mannerisms of a baby.
Yes.
Just with extreme rage issues.
I mean, he doesn't say anything. You don't know what he talks like.
Go, go, gaga.
Regardless, I think it's stupid.
That's a horrifying thought. And whichever thread of theory you go down with this.
I'm excited to hear how they explain it.
Adult baby, lab creation.
Because they can't not. They can't just be like, oh, they told us it's his son, and then they just never talk about it again. They can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it'd be one thing to introduce like a character's family and it'd just be family, but to introduce super family, just seems like you have to have something.
And what's so funny, Colin, is they play it off in the show, and you could probably confirm or deny what I'm about to say because I don't fully remember because I was only half paying attention. everybody who was present, which is all of Jennifer's family, so it's essentially like all Bruce's cousins and things, so it's his family. He says, hey, this is my son. And everybody gets up and is like super excited to meet his son. Like, yay, this is the greatest thing ever. And no one says, how? No one says, how is this possible? It's just everybody's super stoked to meet his kid and completely gloss over it.
According to the timeline, if, say, the Hulk baby is actually like 20,
yes,
would that predate the Hulk becoming the Hulk?
His kid's from outer space, obviously.
Well, I mean, it had to have happened while he was on Skarr.
How is it obvious?
Because you just said earlier, Jesse said earlier that the ship that hit him
was from Skarr.
It
had to
guaranteed where he came from.
Yeah,
it had to have been while he was on Skarr. He was on Skarr for 2 years.
Yeah.
So this mutant monster baby
happened during Ragnarok.
Giant Hulk size in 2 years.
Well, no, because, I mean, that was in the world of the MCU. This is so stupid.
So, actually, most plausible theory is infant transformation. It actually makes the most sense in terms of what's canon.
Well, I definitely want to see a scene much like The Incredibles, where Jack turns into the demon monster thing, but with just a real human baby.
Because honestly, then that would put Skarr at like a 5-year-old, 5 or 6-year-old.
I think the time is.
So it's like we got a Shazam situation going on here. He's a kid, and then he can turn into.
I don't think so.
I think we do.
Because you'd have to break down the timeline.
Why would you put She-Hulk in She-Hulk?
Because you have to think about how long Infinity War and Endgame have been. Yeah, I guess he may be 12. Plus the blip happened.
Unless, is he really his son?
He just adopted him.
Yeah.
He just found another Hulk-like being and adopted it.
Yeah, because he's not the only Hulk.
Are they introducing Planet Hulk?
They could be. I did see something else about that there was rumors of maybe they want to get Harrison Ford to play Red Hulk.
Well, I mean, he's playing Thunderbolt Ross, and Thunderbolt becomes Red Hulk.
That is true.
But it's not because he's from the Planet Hulk world. It's just because he injects himself with Banner's gamma rays and turns him bad instead of good. And that is confirmed, by the way.
So is Thunderbolt his son?
Is Thunderbolt the mom?
His son. Because it would be the Hulk DNA powered him to become a Hulk. He was born into Hulkdom.
Like symbiosis-wise, he's like his own offspring. Oh. But Harrison Ford is confirmed. That is, he's taking over that role.
It's going to be weird seeing him turn into some giant red freakazoid.
It's going to be like an Anchorman 2 where he turns into a werewolf.
I don't know why he wants to do that.
It's so dumb.
Let's talk about something else.
Okay.
Last week we talked about
what makes a good movie.
What makes a good movie and what makes a great movie. This week I'd like to break down what makes a good adaptation of a book versus the best and worst, I guess. Best and worst of book adaptations to film.
Okay.
What do you think? What are your thoughts on what makes a good adaptation? Before you even say, well, these are the ones that I like.
Yeah.
What elements have to be there?
I got a giant red flag in my mind coming right away, and I know you know which one it is.
Probably.
Yeah.
Are you talking like regular book or Bible book?
Not Bible book.
Okay, I have one for each, so it's okay.
With the Bible. I can think of the other one.
Yeah.
Because that's a piece of the discussion that I'd really like to get into.
Yeah, I would say that it's a book, if the movie's going to turn a book into a movie, it's something that follows the book very well. Not adding your own stuff to it.
Okay.
I would say that probably is a good adaptation because you're just copying and pasting it. You're taking one form of art, of writing, and turning that into film, which is another form of art.
Okay.
So I would say that would be a good adaptation because everyone always says the books are better than the movie. Why?
Yes.
Because the movies typically don't follow the books to a T and they add their own stuff.
Okay.
So now I get it's hard for films to follow books because books are long. If you have to cut stuff out, So I would say cutting stuff out isn't bad, but adding stuff that's not in the book, elements that would make it a bad adaptation.
Okay. Yeah, it really comes down to me, like, does the movie grasp what the heart of the book is? Because, like you said, you can't word for word. Books aren't even designed in the way that a movie is. So you can't, taking a 300-page book, you can't turn that into a 300-page movie. You know, you have to change the way things are written. Most of the time, you're not even getting full conversations in a movie. You're getting pieces of a conversation, where a book could spend a chapter on one conversation.
Right.
But if a movie can take what the heart of what the book is saying and translate that element well in the movie, I think I would consider that a successful adaptation of that book. Can you think of any that are done well? Like, what are some of your favorites?
I think Lord of the Rings is a good adaptation.
That's a good one.
Not The Hobbit.
And that's a perfect example because, excuse me, since you bring it up, The Hobbit is one book that they drug out into 3 whole movies, 3 bad movies. So that you know, you're getting the best and the worst in the same genre and the same story.
Trying to think of other. Well, what some you have? What?
I mean, I think I was always a fan of the Hunger Games books. I think the movies did a decent job. I think they tried to play the line of who the movies were made for, and that's what kind of muddled those movies. They tried to make them geared more towards a younger audience. Obviously, it was a young adult novel. So those of us who were like, okay, well, if they'd have gone a little bit darker with it, I think it would have made it a better movie. The books get pretty dark towards the end, that last book especially, but I would consider it a successful book to movie adaptation series, all in all. I have one that's interesting because I think the movie's good, but the movie is not the book in any way, shape, or form. One of my favorite fiction stories is I Am Legend. Fiction's fake, right? Yeah. So I Am Legend, I think, is an incredible book that talks about like loneliness and depression and sadness in a very human way, while also telling a story of vampires, and it's classic vampires. So he's like alone in his house and he's hanging garlic on the windows, and even if there's no actual glass there, all he has to do is hang a piece of garlic there and nothing from the outside can come in. Like, that's really interesting. So he's doing all the classic vampire tropes, but it really dives into his sadness, and every night all he does is contemplate walking out into the dark. Like, that's how sad he is. The movie is not that in any way, shape, or form. But I like the movie. It's just not the book, you know?
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that one?
No, I haven't watched that one.
It's good, but it's not the book.
Aragon was a bad adaptation.
I would
That
agree.
was going to be the one that I would say.
Oh, was it?
Oh, there was, yes.
Yeah.
And even Christopher Paolini has come out and said it's not good because it doesn't capture the heart of what the story was telling.
Yeah.
And they didn't let him be involved in it.
Crammed way too much. It was what, all 4?
Yeah. Well, no, because all 4 books weren't even out when that movie came out.
It would have been
It was
3.
at least the first 2 or 3.
Yeah, and those are exceptionally long books. So they're like Lord of the Rings
They're
level.
so good, though.
Yeah.
I think I only read the first 2, maybe.
In terms of fantasy, they're incredible.
Yeah, they were really good.
Yeah, if you put the right team on it budget-wise, they could compete with Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones, depending on how you take it.
And Disney's about to do a series.
That's
so
right.
We'll see where it goes. That could be interesting. Christopher's going to be involved, so hopefully
That's
helps.
good.
I think that first, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Chronicles of Narnia, that was a very good adaptation.
Yeah.
The other 2 were not. They did Voyage of the Dawn Treader, which I thought was garbage, and I think they did was it the Silver Chair?
Is that the one where they go in the painting?
That was Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
Oh.
There was another one, though, they did. I think it was
know.
the Silver Chair, maybe.
That doesn't sound familiar. The other 2 were just cash grabs, though. Like, they weren't trying to just adapt the books well.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand, because they made it seem like they wanted to get that whole series, you know, and that's hard to do with those kids because they age fast, so you have to make them within so many years. I get it, but they Yeah, I don't know. They just like seem to stop caring after that first one.
That first one's really good, though.
It is really good.
Yeah.
So I would like to see them go back and try to adapt all of that entire series.
Yeah.
And just starting with book 1.
I'm sure Disney will. They're who own it, so.
Yeah, if they're going after Aragon, I could see them going after remaking those.
I doubt they want to try to make it at the same time as like a Game of Thrones, because that's kind of controlling the market right now.
And it's saturated with that stuff between Game of Thrones spinoff and the Lord of the Rings one.
Yeah,
which is Amazon's doing.
So I think they should do a series. I don't think they need to do movies with it. They should do a Disney series because they can, one, film it faster because they can do it each year.
Yeah.
And two, if they started with book 1, you don't really have so many of the elements of that like medieval type stuff in book 1.
Oh, really? What is it?
It's more like London, isn't it?
Yeah, most of it's in London. They still are in Narnia, but it's not called Narnia at that time. It's like almost the creation of Narnia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So is it like wilderness? It's not like...
Yeah.
It's not...
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you still have like the witch and stuff and there's evil stuff in there. Aslan's in it and stuff. Obviously, he created Narnia. Yeah. But you don't have... You don't have all the sword fighting and stuff from what I remember.
Huh.
So...
Just running and hiding.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's almost like early Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where it's like, not incredible peril, but peril to a kid.
Yeah.
So it's just like a little drama, a little humor, and then run around and hide.
Yeah.
I was listening to somebody. This is not relevant. And again, I think Harry Potter, I've never read the books. I think from everything that I've heard other people talk about, they're fair adaptations.
Yeah.
But somebody was talking about how, because everybody's in our culture is very angry about witchcraft saturation and all of that, which I don't disagree with, but they were talking about how in the Harry Potter movies, every time they do a spell, they're not like doing a spell like a witch does a spell. They're just speaking Latin. Uh-huh. Like everything, they point a stick at something and just speak Latin. So they said, the guy I was listening to, I don't remember who it was. I don't remember who it was. I don't want to say anybody because then I'm throwing people under the bus. But they said, if anything, it's more Catholic witchcraft than it is like Satanist witchcraft. Because Catholics, everything they do is Latin.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the creeds and whatnot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So they're not even casting spells. They're just saying Latin words. Latin.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Oh, it's witchcraft." Nope. Wrong.
I mean, they call themselves witches and wizards, but
yeah, but they're not casting actual spells, so they can't. Like, if anyone's afraid of there actually being a spell coming through the TV, it obviously can't because they're not actual spells.
Yeah.
It depends on what the Latin actually means.
It probably means like breakfast burrito or something.
Yeah, if it's just like random goofy stuff, then no harm, no foul. But if it's actual evil things, then...
But I think, here we go again.
It's at least inadvertently causing you to say
I feel like we're talking about the same topics over and over again, kind of like with the homosexual stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the Texas mom was more saying, like, they're taking this property, the Hocus Pocus, and like putting a hex on it. So not that the spell they're saying in the movie is actually real, but like the whole movie is in and of itself a spell. So when you turn it on, it's spelling.
Oh.
I said that intentionally. I saw the smirk, so I appreciate it.
That's a weird way to look at it. That's like you get into the whole subject of cursed objects.
Yeah.
Like the allegedly most haunted dolls and those kind of things. Like, is there any actual validity to it?
I have no idea.
Seems a little strange that one, you could confine a demon to an object in that way, but it'd still have power over you.
Yeah, it's like putting a genie in a bottle.
Yeah, it's like, what's the point of putting it in the doll if the doll can still kill you or wreck your life or something?
Right.
Not to mention, if you're a believer in Christ, you essentially have the greatest power to overcome all of those. So I'm not sure. If you don't want to watch it because it's about witches, I 100% agree with you. And if you don't want to promote that stuff, I also agree with you.
Nothing wrong with that.
But some of this other stuff goes way off into the weeds.
Yeah. Personally,
where I'm at. I would love for you to comment and tell me I'm wrong and show me from scripture where I'm wrong. But
anyways,
my house is good and I did watch it.
The secular ones. What about Bible adaptations?
Bible adaptations. What are some good ones? What are some
You say, what is a good one?
Because I would argue, and this being a movie lover and a God lover and a Bible lover, some of those stories, if they were adapted well and the heart behind the story was done well, there's some really good movies in there. Like if you could take the story of Job and make that a movie, that is a compelling drama if it's done and handled correctly. To me, you can and take the liberties to add things that you need to add. Like you would any story, you have to. You have to do that. And if it's done respectfully with all goodwill towards the property involved, I think that can make a good movie. What's a good one that you've seen?
I mean, as far as like taking it story from story, The Passion was probably, even though I don't care for it,
yes,
but
it's very well done.
It is well done. It
is the best movie that's ever portrayed the crucifixion in the light that the crucifixion needs to be shown in. God used a Catholic man that time.
I have a hard time kind of. I think we need to stop making Bible movies, personally.
Yeah, I would disagree with that. But okay.
I have a hard time because one, like you said, you have to add because you're making a story, so you got to add stuff to it.
You have to add.
I think that kind of breaks the rule of adding, not to add to the scripture. If you're making a film about scripture and then you have to add to it because you have to make it entertaining, I think that's probably wrong.
Well, I would disagree with you in as much as you're not adding theology, but if you're adding a character's backstory, like if you add that he was a fisherman before and we don't know if he was a fisherman, is that really like sacrilegious?
I don't really want to play that line and find out.
I think there's nothing wrong with that.
I would.
I mean, you're just adding. You're not adding anything to God. You're just adding something to Ananias and Sapphira, like the people that they were. You know what I mean?
Well, you're adding stuff to the story though that you know nothing. We don't really know. I'm just. I don't want
leading people astray.
I'm just saying I don't want to play that line.
Okay.
And with if Hollywood is the one that's doing this.
Well, I mean,
which they
Hollywood have given
are.
us plenty of examples where they cannot make. And again, if the heart is to adapt it the way the story is supposed to be adapted, you're giving that to someone who cares about the content. Hollywood can't do that. Exhibit A, Noah. That movie was trash. Ridley Scott directed that movie.
Right.
One of the greatest directors of all time, directed that, and it's garbage. I would love to do an agree to disagree long format on that though, because that is interesting. What does Colin think?
I think it's fine if you're building out a character with stuff that's mostly insignificant for the sake of just giving a scene some context, or if you need a scene where they're coming from one place to the other and you give them a job like that, whatever. And it's not like you're coming out and saying, this is scripture.
Well, no.
Take it as such. And then that's for sure adding to the scriptures. Or if it's like the through line is the story. It also depends on what kind of movie you're doing. If it's like Job, but it's a modern drama, you have Adrian Brody playing Job. He's a piano player, but then his life goes terrible. And it's set in a modern time, so you're really only getting the through line heart of the story.
I see what you're saying. So you're not
it's fully adapted into modern, but it's still the story of Job. So it parallels the story of Job, but it's not historical recreation of the book of Job.
Yeah.
So it really just depends on what you're doing. If you're coming with a historical piece, then the facts better be straight, because that's what you're presenting it as, is the facts of the story.
And I would be more fine with that. Not take if you're making it in a historical piece and then you're adding stuff to it that you don't know, that's where I would draw the line. But if you're doing it more as a modern piece and you're just taking that, okay, this is what his life, like you're taking his life and you're turning it into a modern era type thing. Just taking the whole, like the story, like, oh, he suffered.
I'll watch Adrian Brody do about anything, so I'm down.
For some reason, that was the first images that came to mind was Adrian Brody failing pianist.
You're referencing the pianist directly. But I've never seen the pianist, so I don't know.
I haven't either. I didn't know.
I think it was World War II era.
Oh.
I can't think of any others off the top of my head. Apparently, The Chosen's a very good show. I've never seen it.
See, I've heard bad things about that. But
depends on the circle you're running, I guess.
Depends on who you've chosen to listen to.
This is very true. I've never seen it. I have no frame of reference. You have to be careful, though, because God will come through the TV.
That can happen. He can smite you through your television.
Yes, he can.
If he so chooses.
I can't think of any others.
Not that are good.
Not that are good.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed Alice in Wonderland. I thought that was a pretty good adaptation of the book.
It's your prerogative. Danny Elfman. I guess a lot of that Disney stuff's kind of book adaptations, isn't it?
I mean, Holes is a book adaptation.
I can't really comment on whether it was a good one or not, though, because I never read the book.
Yeah.
It was pretty different from the book.
Was Sigourney in the book?
No.
Was her character a man in the book?
No.
That would be interesting, yeah. If they flipped it for Sigourney.
They gender
Look,
swapped.
we have Sigourney for this role. This story's got
They're like, but we have John Voight. We can let. They're like, nope.
No. Voight, he's an afterthought. Sigourney.
Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou is based on the Odyssey by Gomer. Or Homer.
Gomer. Shawshank Redemption's based on a short story.
Yeah.
Had to add a lot to that one.
Yeah,
It was
only
like
a
2
short
pages, I think.
story, and it was what, a 3-hour movie?
Yeah.
That is taking liberties, but that was a good movie.
It's a good movie, yeah, very much so.
I don't think Legends of Sleepy Hollow, not a great adaptation.
Definitely not. That movie's slow.
Was it an adaptation of the book or the legend?
The book is a short story too, so it's not really a full length book. It's like 5 pages.
I don't remember though. Yeah. That's Tim Burton too?
Tim Burton, yeah.
His movie's just slow.
Yeah, I mean I watch it just about every couple years probably.
Oh, do you?
But yeah, it's not great. I think I watched it last year and I was just like, it's not as good as I remember.
I really think that's one of the times where I'm like, okay, I like Johnny Depp in this role. He fits that like quirky, weird kind of old-timey doctor stuff, but the plot was just like, and then
all the witch stuff with it was what was weird. Like it
super
gets
weird.
so weird.
Here we go with witches again.
If they would have just
left out the witch.
yeah.
But that witch was creepy too.
Yeah, Christina Ricci.
And then Christopher
she
Walken
looks
with
scary.
sharp teeth. It's such a weird movie.
Yeah.
Why? That's an odd choice.
I don't know why. I can't think of anything else. You got anything else?
No, I got
Colin?
nothing else.
No, nothing else.
Let's. I'm sure there's a ton of other stuff. If we've forgotten anything, shoot it in.
Yeah, remind us of our glaring mistake.
Hit it up in the comments. But what else you been watching before we wrap it up for today?
We just finished Big Shot Season 2 with John Stamos. I don't know why I like that show. We like that show so much, but
You like
You
John
like
Stamos.
it because it's John Stamos.
Yeah, we watch it. It's good. It's a good show. I mean, we don't let the kids watch it. It's not because it's like bad or anything, but there is some lesbian stuff in it. It's an all-girl school, so.
Oh. Wait, and there's John Stamos. Is that it?
How are there lesbians around John Stamos? That is the real question.
Let's see.
Is that the?
It's a spicy take.
I was gonna make a Scared Straight reference, but no, that's not appropriate.
What else? I watched.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
I watched One Night Werewolf on Disney Plus.
Oh,
Put it-
Werewolf at
Werewolf by Night.
Werewolf by Night.
One Night Werewolf is that game.
One Night Werewolf.
That would be
At
great.
a red box somewhere.
That would be great if they made a movie about that. It's just like 4 guys in a row playing that game. That's all they do.
You know, and it's rated R. I'm pretty sure.
Yes. Yeah.
The other day, I was trying to find the red box. I never go to a red box anymore, but we had these DVDs lately because the internet has been shoddy, and I couldn't find it at Walmart. Do you know why I couldn't find the red box at Walmart?
It doesn't exist.
It's blue.
Explain that.
I'm assuming because Walmart's colors are blue, but it literally, like, I saw it 4 times, glanced right over it because it's a blue box.
Did we cross dimensions?
Is this the metaverse or something? Because
Has the timeline shifted?
The red boxes in Knox are still red.
I know, and the letters are like are in white with black lettering. So it says Redbox on it. I wasn't reading words. I was looking for a red box.
That's the whole point. You look for the red box.
I felt silly. I feel silly saying it right now, but the box was blue. So anyways, continue on. Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, Werewolf by Night. Yeah, really good. I recommend it to anybody over the age of 16.
Even if it is rated R, there's not much there.
Yeah, no.
It's just because it's scary.
It's tense.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say there's some blood.
Yeah.
Or gore, I guess, to an extent.
Mm-hmm. It's very reminiscent of the old like Werewolf and Dracula and the old monster movie, Universal monster movies. They shot it in black and white. Mm-hmm. They even added like some of the defects from old filming, like little like
the film grain.
Yeah,
film grain stuff.
Really cool
Audio grain stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
it's just shot really well. I was enjoying almost the cinematography of it better than the actual movie and story. Like, but it was good. I mean, but it was all great. But
it was an interesting story.
Yeah.
And it was one where I'm like, I don't know any of these people.
Yeah.
And it didn't bother me at all.
Yep.
I was just like, okay, let's watch this. The man thing was, the man thing was incredible. Like, such a weird design looking creature. And I guess they made a movie about it back in like 2005, but it wasn't great and didn't do well.
Yeah.
But this was great. And then he transforms into the werewolf, and it was classic werewolf look. Like, not, it wasn't just a big wolf, Twilight style.
The characters in the show reminded you of an old, like, they acted like they were in an old film. Like, it was kind of cheesy. Like,
it was definitely cheesy. Yeah.
It was really good. I'd recommend it.
My only gripe is like some of the fight scenes. So the main character is this. You've got the guy who plays the werewolf character, but Elsa Bloodstone is essentially the main character. Mm-hmm. And that big Irish dude beats the crap out of her. And it doesn't even faze her.
Yeah.
Like, she's invincible to everything, unfortunately. And some of the fighting styles were a little bit too new age for the old school style. So that they didn't gel well together, because she's fighting like she's Black Widow. Mm-hmm. And it was just okay, that's a little bit overboard, Mm-hmm. If they'd have done that a little bit more choppy, a little bit more, I think it would have been better, but...
You almost have to intentionally ham it up.
Yeah. Yeah. But still, that's one thing that Disney's going to start doing, I guess, instead of a series. And not instead of as in they're not going to make any more series, because they are.
In addition to
the series and the movies, they're going to start doing what they're calling specials. So this was considered a special, and it's just an hour of content, one story, start to finish, and it's really brief and quick and
kind of like short film.
Yeah,
just a longer format, kind of in between short film and standard runtime.
For a while back, when they were releasing DVDs, who releases DVDs anymore, right? But they were doing one shots, and it was just like a 15-minute story of something. You remember it was like Coulson went to Mjolnir's where the hammer had fallen after Thor 1. It was just quick stuff like that. Didn't really add a ton of stuff, but
it was just something.
It was just content. I think it's cool because it all still mirrors how comic books are done. Comic books do that all the time. Well, here's a special, and it's just like 1 or 2 editions, and then it doesn't go anywhere else after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would like to see Marvel do a lot more of the monster stuff like that if they could. Yeah. I don't know how, because that's Universal, so I don't know. Well, I guess
it's all public domain.
Yeah,
they could do whatever they want with that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be great if they seemed like they did like a Frankenstein or a Dracula, Creature from the Black Lagoon. That'd be really cool. And did him in black and white. I would like them to just don't do him in color. Keep it in black and white. I like that.
It is a cool motif. I think that really adds to it, especially if you're trying to do almost like a period piece reflecting on that era of filmmaking. Mm-hmm. Then it'd be almost wrong not to,
Yeah. Did you ever watch The Artist?
No, I didn't.
No.
Did that have Robert Downey Jr. in it?
No, it had John Goodman in it.
Oh, okay.
But it was all silent picture. Filmed black and white. It was all silent. Until the end. The end of it, then they start talking, but it's because it was Robert Or Robert Goodman.
Sorry.
John Goodman. John Goodman was the director. You find out they're filming a movie.
Oh.
So it's like based back in that time era, and they're filming a silent picture, but the whole movie is filmed around them filming a movie, but you don't know that.
So it's kind of reversed what Oz the Great and Powerful did.
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's a real inventive way to do a movie. Give it something just like conceptually that's out of left field, because that's like you're filming a movie while you're filming a movie.
Right. It's retro.
And then, yeah, it's one of those things like it may not be the coolest or the biggest movie ever, but that's a really cool piece, you know?
Speaking of, I could do this forever. This is what I do at work with Coriel. It's just like one thought triggers another thought, and then I just train react it. A movie, filming a movie. Did you ever watch Argo? The Brad Pitt movie?
Brad Pitt?
Not Brad Pitt. Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck. He directed it.
Okay.
Yeah. Brad Pitt. They're the same guy, right?
Definitely not.
It's about, and it's a true story about him having to go into like Iran to get American CIA
like
people
79
out.
or something like that.
So the whole premise is he's making a movie. He works for the CIA, I think, but it's all fake. He's going to make a movie, but he wants to shoot it over there. So he takes American producers, American actors, and they go in with the intention of sneaking people back out with them. It's a really good movie. Has nothing to do with what we were talking about, but it's a very good movie.
I'm pretty sure that one is on HBO and Amazon Prime Video for free.
Is it? You should definitely watch it. Like, that's one I highly recommend.
That one won a lot of awards when it came out. What, 2012, I think?
It's been a little bit, yeah.
It's probably his best movie.
Yeah.
And
I've heard a lot of good
It's got John Goodman in it as well. And it's got Alan Arkin in there doing his goofy stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I watched that one probably around when it came out, but I haven't since.
It's so good.
I've been meaning to watch it. I watched that other one he did. What was it called? It was the Irish one, or the Boston one.
The Town.
The Town.
The Town.
Yeah, I didn't like super pay attention to it because I was doing the podcast clip editing at that time. But that one's a good one.
It's a good movie, yeah.
Yeah.
That one's, you got to take that one with a grain of salt. There's a lot of content stuff in there where it's just
content advisory for sure.
For sure. Anything set in Boston, content advisory.
Yeah, just if nothing, the language alone, but
absolutely.
A lot of the recreational scenes are a bit much.
Yeah.
That's a good thing we could talk about too. Maybe one of these times we'll do it. Like, how much content, is too much for like your viewing because it's different for I think all of us. Yeah. So should be a scale, but anyways, the other thing I watched was Scream 2. Last week or the week before we watched Scream 1, so we watched Scream 2. I didn't remember that one. I remember the first one a lot, but I didn't remember that one. Being whodunit movies, it behooves you not to know. Once you see them, it's all the mysteries taken out of those stories. So
yeah.
But that one had Liev Schreiber in it quite a bit. And
really?
He was real young in that one. So he's fun to watch. I like Liev Schreiber a lot. Timothy Olyphant is in there.
Oh, is he really?
It was crazy because we start watching it and it's made in the early 2000s, right? So it's got an all-star cast. And I'm like, I do not remember these people. The movie starts with Jada Pinkett Smith. Very short to non-existent hair then, might I add.
Let's not dive back into that.
I'm sorry. Joshua Jackson's in there.
Oh, wow.
And Timothy Olyphant, Jerry O'Connell, Sarah Michelle Gellar. And then you have Liev Schreiber, and he's young, and the whole cast of the Scream cast. But these are all just kind of extra people. And I'm like, what a modge podge of just really good talent,
Yeah, it's kind of like those Knives Out movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whodunit's just packed with as many big names as they can.
Yeah. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. When's Knives Out 2 come out?
I think December.
Okay.
I think it's Glass Onion.
Oh, that's right. It had that goofy name.
Well, it's called Glass Out. Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery. So I think they'll all kind of just have a Knives Out is kind of like its big title. And
just to make sure people don't lose track of, hey, this is a Knives Out movie.
I think that's really cool.
It's not a bad idea, especially if you're going to give them such exotic names like Glass Onion.
Dave Bautista looks just like he's going to be real crazy in this movie.
It's just funny, like, so you go back to like the early days of like movies, and you see a lot of the whodunits, the mystery thrillers and stuff, and the old black and white movies and stuff like that. And then they kind of went away for a while.
They went away for a while.
And now you see them come back out with the Agatha Christie novels becoming movies, which other bad movies that were books.
Yeah. A couple Little Women movies. I don't know if that was Agatha Christie or not.
No, it wasn't.
Jules Verne, he's another one.
Yeah. But yeah, now to see, and then Knives Out, to see these movies come back, it's exciting because I enjoyed them. I watched a lot of the old ones growing up.
Oh, that was the other thing you texted me that we didn't talk about. I think was the Agatha Christie. There's another like Murder on the Orient Express kind of movie coming out. Kenneth Branagh's directing it.
I thought we talked about that last couple
weeks ago. Maybe we did. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure we talked about that.
I can't remember.
Oh.
Unison Shrug. You got anything else?
No, I got nothing.
I don't either. You want to go ahead and just end it for us?
Yep. All right. If you like what you see, please hit the like and subscribe button on the YouTube channel and share us with your friends. You can also go ahead over to Instagram. You can follow me at JahazielGood on Instagram. Jesse's running the Popcorn and Coffee page on Instagram, and Colin at KB Gursky.
Not the KBG. Colin BG.
Colin BG.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this. That is how we're going to get more recognition in front of more faces. Yes. That's how the YouTube algorithm works. That's what we need to see happen.
I know it sounds like we're begging, but we
are.
We are.
Ain't too proud to beg.
So please share us with your friends.
Don't forget, once you see the clip come up for the giveaway, go to that video, comment on that video with your favorite movie, whatever your favorite movie is, whether we think it's good or not, and go into the drawing to win our tumbler there.
And Uncut Gems, if that is your favorite movie, will not void you from the contest as much as we might want to.
Correct. It will affect...
No, it won't affect nothing. It's a random.
A lot of people really like that movie, so that wouldn't surprise me at all. Yep. Anyways, that's all for today, guys.
Bye.
See you.